Welcome back to the Juice.
Bang.
Okay. One thing I forgot to add about I want it in this podcast. One thing that I forgot to mention is after watching the ASL pod with ATN last year and watching the ASL pod with ATN this year with Vinny in it as well, both times you guys and him made a comment about Henry and ATN in the ASL final and there being drama. Okay. And the comment from ATN, which why he was upset on the podcast, was that he made a high call on ATN or his team against Thomas and his partner. The serve, I don't know who served it, ATN or Max or whoever, but it was on Henry.
They said Max served to Jensen.
Yeah. It was Max serving to Jensen, and Henry was on the high call. And they were pissed.
He wasn't paying attention.
Pissed that he wasn't paying attention and that he was picking up balls and then looked over after the serve happened and then called high. Okay? And then ATN went, "What?" And got super pissed off and everything. We went, not Tom. I went through the full game, the full 2-hour segment of the ASL final.
Tell me who you know.
This is not going to go over well, bro, to any overseas listeners.
Just might see us at Worlds. Maybe.
Dude,
If not us, who?
right? I know, they definitely need observers.
Like dried raisins. See, I'm not a big raisin guy. I don't even know the slightest thing about raisins. So
Kyle Keenan. Keenan is key.
Gabe Finocchi is going to be playing with...
They're like witches brewing up these perfect balls.
Commanders, you're next.
Yeah. For me, I decided it was the right thing to do, and then ultimately went to Salt Lake City and kicked his ass.
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, what are you playing naked?
Flapwick is a handsome dude, and he's tall. Good looking dude. I definitely would go more 7.
I think if there's anything I've learned from this past week, it's that if you make a lot of noise and get a lot of attention, it doesn't matter if you're doing a good job, but you will get the attention.
I know a lot of the things that I say might be viewed as controversial.
It was a bit of a bitch ass move.
Are you serious? That's so good.
You're listening to Spiked Lemonade, the only Roundnet podcast that squeezes out all the juice in the Roundnet community right now. Today we have 2 special guests. One, I'm sure you heard him already, Emerson Dean from Windsor, right? Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah, exactly.
And the friendly folk right across the border, so close that they can just drive to each other's houses to hop on this podcast, Thomas Hamilton.
Yes, sir. Welcome, boys.
So,
Here.
big announcements from your end in the Midwest of United States, other than just cornfields and cows crossing the street, right? So, Midwest Roundnet series. Introduce it. Tell us what it is to the folks that haven't seen much about it.
That's all you, Tom.
Yeah, the Midwest Roundnet series. We kind of started it. It wasn't out of the blue, but we saw the other series going on, and we realized there wasn't much around us, and we kind of thought that what everyone else was doing wouldn't work for us and our goals in the Midwest. So I decided, or not me, but me and a few others, we decided to get all the Midwest leaders and just band together to make this. It's not really just one person or 2 people, it's a whole squad of us working together. And our biggest goal, our main mission is just to grow the local communities and make it so, we don't have to be fucking flying around all over the states just to play this, little game. So,
Yeah, so especially with all the other tournament series popping up and different ways to play and, lots of travel are involved for, as they're spread out throughout U.S. and Canada. So we're trying to bring it back a little bit, have people travel less, at least in our area, give a series for people to compete in without having to fly to every tournament and keep it more local. Have pretty much each state is going to have one sectional roughly, and then they're going to have their own local tournaments. I know it's pretty common knowledge that I'm from Canada, but I'm still helping out. I'm right across the border, just like like Tom here. That's why we can come hang out together. So it's we still want to have some representation in Ontario. Maybe Quebec might be a little bit too far, but for Windsor, it's just as far to get to all these different tournaments as it is for me and for Livonia and everyone else in Windsor. So we're going to have a sectional, or not a sectional. I don't know if it's going to be a sectional or a local tournament, but community event. The June 28th will be the only Windsor or only non-US tournament in the MRS. But besides that, they're all going to be in the Midwest in the US, and we're going to have a good time and try to keep the community growing by catering to our local and region of the Midwest.
Yeah, we'll make it really available to everyone, including you guys too. We don't want to, like, even though it's the Midwest series, we're planning a lot of cool things to reward like other players for coming out as well.
Makes sense. That was my next question. Like, how do you are you presenting this tour series in a way where you want to attract players from other spots in the U.S. and beyond? And if so, like, how are you drawing them in? You know what I mean? What's going to be, why wouldn't they just play in their own local stuff? Why would they come to play in what you guys have going on?
Yeah, we 100% want others to come. So our big thing is we have, if you like break out down our tournaments, we have our USA, our like sectionals. Those are going to be our main events. Those happen the second weekend of every month. And going on in the future, I think that will help everyone else around us like plan. So if like, Eastern Roundnet series is doing anything, maybe they would do it like the first weekend of every month. It'd be easier to plan around that, right? And then we have our locals, which aren't as much points as like sectionals. Each state will have multiples of those. Those aren't like the big ones. And we'll have some like community events where those are going to be like more for fun. They're going to be like really unique events. But the big thing with our sectionals is that we're going to be doing power pools, right? Power pools where we're going to try and have basically like the top players get put into a pool and they kind of get to duke it out. So that way, when really good players come out, they're rewarded by getting to play other good players and getting the reps, Sure. I guess the season pass, we can talk about that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have a really cool idea that we're excited to share. It's called the season pass.
Not so much going to benefit the people from out of town, but
well, it can is the thing. So, it will mainly be for the Midwest people, but anyone could buy it. You just pay $175 up front, and like all of our sectional events and our local events, you just pay for them all up front. So,
with the season pass, and then you get to play every tournament for free.
Yeah. So you're just, the more you go to, the more it's worth it. So for one of us who's, going to go to, I think if you go to like 4 or 5 sectionals, it's worth it. And then your locals as well. Like, you're
after
just
that, the
saving
break even's about 4.5. So after the 5th one, you're pretty much breaking even. So if you're going to play 5 tournaments in the year and you're trying to stay local, then now you're incentivized. Every other tournament's free. If you play 4, you're pretty much breaking even. If you play 8, you're getting just all that extra money in your pocket.
Right. And again, this is more for probably our guys, but like if they buy this, it's kind of a waste of money for them to not go out to some events. So we're hoping it will really influence our top guys in the Midwest to keep coming out, and then, then also influence the smaller and like newer players to come out as well.
On top of that,
How much per one tournament? Because I want to break down the season pass and its value. How much for one?
What was it for a sectional? I think it was it 30 play?
I think it was 30,
Roughly
35.
Yeah.
35, 40.
So yeah, for
okay.
Per
team or per person?
Per person.
Per person.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then locals will be a little bit less. We're kind of leaving locals more up to the TDs, and then these community events that we mentioned. The season pass won't cover that because those are going to be more unique. One of our ones I'm excited for is Bang at the Beach. We're just going to be doing like a sand tournament with some like unique rules, and your money, like the registration, actually goes towards like an Airbnb, where like the big thing will be like the after party, and it'll just be like a King of the Beach style tournament. We'll probably do like Revol style serving or something, and like a smaller boundary. And yeah, no, it's just going to be a blast. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I want to clear this up a little bit too. So, as an Atlantic Coast, East Coast guy, I have no idea what states are Midwest. To me, Midwest is a funny name in the first place because you guys are technically more on the east half of the country, but it's the Midwest for some reason.
And we're east.
So what states, Midwest Roundnet, when you say Midwest Roundnet, what states are you referring?
I'll give my best guess, but we got
Let's go
Michigan,
Canadian.
we got Michigan, we got Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and I think I said Kentucky.
Okay.
That's 7. I think that's all that cover the Midwest in the Roundnet scene. Like there's still like Iowa that maybe could be counted as Midwest, but I don't think they got a scene there. So I think those 7 encompass the Midwest and the Roundnet scene at least, because I think everywhere else would just be a part of a different region.
Are there going to be tournaments in all those states that you guys are going to help? Are you guys going to sanction those local ones? So they're like the local tournaments?
Yeah.
We want them to all be sanctioned, but again, we're going to try and leave that up to the TD. Same thing with like equipment as well. Like Midwest as a whole, like we'll have the point system that all works together, but we're really stressing that like each TD and each like leader of the state, they kind of choose how things go in terms of like equipment and mainly equipment and not some other things. But we will have like a unified rule set, which will be bigger ball and boundary for all of our event or for all our sectional events.
Okay, let me pause you for a sec because this is important too. Bigger ball. Which bigger ball, and does it matter?
It's not determined yet because we don't have either bigger ball in mass production yet. So we don't have, as far as I know, because I'm not super involved with the MRS. Like I'm dabbling here and there with the Canada and the MRS and like local scene and Ontario provincial stuff. So I'm kind of got my hand in all these pots. So I'm not like too up to date on every information. But from what I know, we don't have any strict ties with Spike Ball for their ball or for Premier Spike with their ball. So we're going to wait to see when both balls come out. We're going to try both of them out, and we might have, this tournament, we're going to use all Premier Spike bigger ball. This tournament here, we're going to have all Spike Ball bigger ball. And then let's say halfway through the year, we go, the Spike Ball bigger ball, definitely better. We're going to have that for the second half and championship. Or maybe other way around. Maybe it's Premier Spike, that's a better ball. Or maybe we don't know, and we'll just alternate each tournament, maybe hear player feedback, and go from there. As far as I know, we don't have any strict ties, and obviously none of them have been released yet, so we don't really have much more information to give, but we are open to any and all bigger balls.
Yeah, I will say our first event, April 2nd.
Sorry, boys.
We have to grow.
I will say the second weekend of April, our first event, Bloomington, our first big sectional. Those will be using the Premier Spike baked bigger balls. And ideally we'll be using Premier Spike nets as well. Definitely for the higher divisions. If we don't have enough, the lower divisions will start to see just like normal Spike Ball nets.
So here's
go ahead, Matt.
So with your sectionals, are all of your MRS sectionals USAR on the USAR schedule?
Yes.
But they're not making you guys abide by the RRR 25?
I think we are. That's the IRF stuff, right? Yeah. So we are going to be doing IRF rules as like the time goes on, but we are playing big ball 100%. And with bigger ball, we're doing the bigger boundary as well. But the other rules, like we will start with package A, and do it so like the person can run around. But yeah, I'm honestly in our group chat, I was just like, guys, I'm not playing with the pro ball, especially not in my area. So we're gonna keep it pushing.
Bigger ball, 30-foot for every single one. What if they expand the boundary?
We will probably expand the boundary then too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd be shocked.
They're all right with that.
I'd be very.
USAR is all right with that.
I'd be very shocked if IRF or USAR has a boundary more than 30 feet or 10 meters. I really don't think. Okay, yeah. I don't think it'd be any more than that. 30 feet, there's barely any touches outside of 30 feet, so there's no point of a boundary more than that. I think it's going to cause more confusion and more division in the nets on the field. I don't think there's really even a point of having boundary more than 30 feet. So I'd be shocked, and I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah, I will say, I think in my last pickup session, Jake brought a couple of the bigger Premier Spike balls, and we were ripping those, just trying to hit low hard, see how far they would go. They really were only going 25 feet.
Yeah.
Like they were landing probably around 25, 30 feet. You had to hit like a really big boom to really get it out of 30 feet. Anyway,
That's
if that's the shot we could take away, I think that's the goal.
Yeah, that's why, like, when I talk about boundary, I'm always saying with the bigger ball. It's like not one or the other. It's like a massive combo of them both. That's where like I found the money, because we've tried it with pro ball, and yeah, I didn't like it. So yeah, big ball and boundary.
I mean, the thing is too, if you're hitting a ball out of bounds, that means you have to change your game. You have to change how the game's going to feel different. So if you're hitting balls out and it feels uncomfortable, that's a good thing. It's new. It's something different. If we have 35 feet, you're not going to feel anything different. What's the point of it? You're not going to break the game or fix the game by doing so. You really need to get uncomfortable and be okay with that, and try to see is it a good fit? Is it not a good fit?
And they just gotta try it too. Like, people are kind of just like not that. I mean, yeah, I'll just be honest. Like, a lot of people aren't that good, and they just like rip the hell out of it, and that's like, oh yeah, I'm winning because of that, so they like it. And then when you make the change and they're not skilled enough to deal with it, they're immediately going to be like, oh, I don't like this, or it's uncomfortable, I don't want to try it. But like, the more you start to try it, and the more you start to understand, and the more you just like realize I don't have to dink it on every time I get a bad set, or just like try to drop it, and you start getting the skill to like chip it over people, or maybe purposely hit it hard and low into them, or look for a different shot, or do something with spin. Yeah, you'll start to appreciate it more.
Definitely. Emerson, I got a question for you. How do you feel like the bigger ball translates to your game specifically?
I mean, hopefully good. I don't know. I mean, I like playing defense, so bigger ball does provide more defense capabilities and more potential. But I mean, overall, just like from a standpoint of enjoying the game, like, so we played Revol the week before ASL on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We were playing Revol, and obviously, or maybe not obviously, but the ball is much bigger. I want to say double the size. I don't know exactly the diameter, but we were playing with that ball, and it was so intense and like fun. Like, you're playing games where the score is 3-3, and you're gassed, and you're like, "Hey, we calling timeout? Or are we waiting 4 more points? Or are we waiting until halfway through the game? Or what are we doing here?" Like, because the rallies are intense. We're playing with a boundary. We played the one day on grass with, I think, 9-meter boundary, like 27 feet roughly, and then day 2 we played on beach, so we had a shorter boundary because it would have been way tougher with the bigger boundary on beach. I think we did 7.5 meter, and man, it's a workout. Like, you feel like an athlete. Every point's a rally. Every point when you start the game, when you start each point, you have to serve as far as you want, and you start at the net. So you're trying to hit that back line, and then now you starting the point with a rally, and then they're hitting the ball, and you're playing defense, and then so it's a workout. It's a ton of fun, like so much fun. Every point you have to work for it. There's no serve ball. Like, you can still get aces, but they're so few and far between. Every point you got to work for it. And then going from Revol to then play ASL, especially with this guy, like you're playing with Tom or Cliff or whoever, Marino, all of them, and you're just like sitting there hanging out, like, serve, serve, serve. Okay, we're receiving. Okay, touch, point. Like, you're serving, touch, point. Either get the point or not. There's no rallies. There's no crazy defense. Like, those points happen, but they're so few and far between. And it was like reverse culture shock. You're like, wow, like, how can I keep doing this for all my entertainment and fun? Like, it's just not there.
Yeah.
So bigger balls is going to bring that extra defense potential and more rallies and more fun. So back to your question about how do I think it'll affect my game? I really don't know. I think there's going to be a lot more people that are athletic, that are going to excel and become top players. But myself, I like defense. It's fun. I want to be good at it, so I'm going to try harder. I think everyone's going to try harder though, so that doesn't really give me a specific advantage. But I think it's going to be a lot more fun for the game overall.
Definitely. And we got to keep going with the tour series here, but I do have one. We have a couple ASL questions here sprinkled in. And I have one for you. I have a handful of questions for you tonight, bro, but they're like all heaters.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want you to think that I'm like coming crazy at your neck, but like, here's my question for you.
Yeah.
So you're there in the finals, overtime, right?
Yeah.
And you see Etienne and Vinny walk to the net, and you see Marino and Hamilton walk to the net. Now, I need an honest answer from you. Don't BS me. We're not in the BS world here, right? So let's say if you wanted the game to be a complete tie, it's 50-50. If you wanted, I need your percentage here. Who were you rooting for in the moment in a 1 to 100 scale?
Are you kidding me? What kind of question is that? Come on, that's brutal.
Is that
That's
what does
it?
that mean? Does that mean it's an obvious answer? I need it.
Oh, I'm going for the boys. We're going for Livonia here. I'm trying to win.
100 to 0.
100 to 0. Are you kidding me? That's a terrible question.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Oh my
if you do a-
God.
I'm trying to win the championship. Are you for real? Come on.
Hey, if
There's $1,000 on the line.
Yeah.
if you do a podcast with the Canadian, like Team Canada, I'll tell you what, they're not going to be here hanging with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's as good as he is because we're this close. We practice together. I know a lot of
Right.
people understand it, and like especially talking to Alex and Caleb about it because like they didn't want Livonia to be like a powerhouse team like it was last year, and they're trying to do weird stuff with the borders and stuff. And I was like, hey, I don't think you guys understand how close Emerson is and how like yes, I know he's Canadian, and at Worlds we're on different teams, but like that is my teammate. Like him, Marino, Jack, so many people throughout the years. Like these are the people that we've mainly trained with. I mean, he lives closer to me than I think any partner I've had. And all my partners have been Michigan partners, except for Spencer Weber, like my first partner. But he's closer to me than Marino, closer to me than Kevin Bailey and Dawson Morgan too.
That might have been the worst question on Spike Lemonade podcast. I was ready for a good question, like who did you think was going to win, or like what percentage you think was going to win?
I thought you were going to ask something different too.
Yeah. I thought you were going to ask a good question. Come on, man.
I'll tell you this. I appreciate the blowback on this. We're just getting started, brother.
All right.
So just sit back and enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? The first one is not that difficult, but they're going to get crazy.
I got a fun fact though, based on that question. Back when it was 2019 and 2020, and we were about to have the first World Championships, which were going to be 2020 in Belgium, and then they got postponed because of COVID. So I tried out for the team. We had a tournament in Toronto, a tournament in Quebec, and I'm from Windsor, like, right on the border, way far south from any other player that's good in Ontario or Canada or Quebec, wherever. So when I played, a lot of Quebec players thought I was American and I shouldn't be eligible to play on the team. But,
really?
Yeah. So, but that's all gone.
Wow.
Who knows I'm Canadian now, so that's good.
Fair enough.
Not even when you came over and said, it's like, hey, how's it going? Like nothing?
No.
They couldn't tell from the accent or anything?
No, they just knew I played in the States every weekend, so they thought I was American. But nope, just travel there. That's why we try to get MRS going.
Yeah.
That's right.
World Circle.
And you said Midwest Roundnet is going up into Canada.
Yeah, we're going to have one Canadian event, the Windsor event. It will be it's probably going to be a unique one. So I was saying before that we have those community events. It will be one of those because it's going to be like unique and fun. I also think it will be a USAR sectional, right? Or Team Canada sectional.
It's right now it's a Canadian like sectional minor or whatever they're called, and then USAR, or maybe not USAR points because it's not in US, but I think it's part of the MRS as a local or sectional or something like that.
I think we'll probably give it
like a bonus.
MRS. Yeah, we're gonna have a few bonus like MRS sectionals.
Right.
Okay, I didn't break this down, but our point system, we do have like there's sectionals being the most amount of points, your locals being half of that, and then I think our community events usually aren't going to be worth points, except for like the Windsor one probably.
Due to the high status.
And I think we'll do it like STS style, where you pull from either like your top 3 or top 4 results, and that will go towards making MRS elite, and elite will be the top 8 men and the top 4 women. We're still not 100% sure what we're what we're gonna do with the MRS Elite. We have some like cool plans and ideas. One being like we think it would be cool to play ERS and their top 8 men and their top 4 women, to play them in a squad event at like. I was pitching the idea to like the USAR, but I was like, what if at the USAR championship on co-ed, after co-ed's all done, we could like, have our squads play against each other, and it'll be kind of a spectacle. And then ideally we push in the future for, East Roundnet, Midwest, West, like all these different regions kind of having like these big organizing like bodies over them to kind of unify them to work towards something. And then, we'd be able to work squads more into our main season, instead of it being a side thing.
All right, Tom's talking too long. I need to shut a fireball.
Yeah, Tom, I think you need to enter into like the Dana White of the Roundnet. Roundnet needs a couple more no-nonsense people to step up and kind of tell people just to shut the hell up. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? And have things that are actually going to work.
Hey, if that's what we're going to be doing.
Speaking of things that may or may not work, Emerson, why did you think that the Premier Tour Series like wouldn't work ultimately?
I mean, so just how they handled the Vancouver situation with them announcing dates, and I was talking with people in Vancouver, people with Roundnet Canada, people that are on the BC, which is the province that Vancouver's in, and no one's heard anything. So they announced a tournament date. They can't have it on that date. They change the date. They don't tell anyone. And I'm talking with Carl. I'm talking with like BC, Vancouver. I'm talking with Roundnet Canada. No one's heard anything. So it's just like, hey, if they're doing that with the one tournament that I can confirm, which we confirmed it's not, there's no communication there. It's just, I wonder how everything else is going with the other tournaments. And then on top of that, with the high membership cost and the high entry fee, it's one of those things where it would work great if you have 300 teams committed, but you don't have that yet. So it's like, hey, someone's got to get the ball rolling, but then it's still got to get all the way there. Like, whatever their prize pool was, like 15K or 25K or whatever it was, like that's all based on registration. Like if no one signs up and you have 5 people, what's the tournament payout going to be? They said it was going to be based on percentage of teams signed up, which means they have no base from sponsors, right? So it's pretty much all coming from the people that are paying, but only top 5, top 8 teams are going to get their money back out of 192, or at least per division. So you have top 8 per 32, top 8 per 32 for Premier, Contender, Pro. So
yeah,
it just didn't make sense, and they're trying to attract the top when really you should try to be attracting the bottom. Yeah. Build that big base, and that's what we're trying to do with MRS. Is build a big base, make it community friendly, have everything be work towards USAR and Roundnet Canada, and every tournament is going to be valuable for everyone and not just people that are trying to win.
Yeah, you need the base to reach the top, and that was honestly talking to them. I like the guys that run the PS series. I like them a lot, like Pack and Christian stuff. But when we had talked to them and they were talking about like it's a lot of prize money. Like I know it's expensive to play, but like you make top 8, you're gonna get your money back, and then some. And I'm like, that's sweet for me. But then in the call, we had some other like Midwest leaders, and like my buddy Isaiah is like, well, like, how does that work for me? Because I'm going to be paying all this money going just to get like smacked and then not really get anything out of it. So that was kind of one of our biggest
inspirations.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like after that call, I just got all the people together, and I was like, all right, well, we'll let them kind of do their thing and see how that goes. But like, we need something for us, for our players, because I'm not going to have like all my Midwest homies play in some stuff that I don't think that will benefit them or help grow us. So
yeah, because at the time they didn't have any within 8 hours driving distance for people in the Midwest. So it's like, why would anyone go to one tournament? You pay, I think at the time it was $300 membership per player. Maybe it got up to $150, and then whatever the fee was to play, whether it's $50 or $150 per player. It's like, hey, you're paying $200 US which in Canada that's like $300 for one tournament to drive more than 8 hours. I don't see the value there unless you're guaranteed, finals appearance like Tom is. But everyone else, there's no point. So we're like, hey, even with one tournament in the Midwest, it's still not worth it. You need like 5 or 6, and that's why we try to create the MRS Battle Pass. If you attend 5 or 6 within driving distance, then you're golden.
Right. And do you think that if the Premier Tour Series implemented the Fortnite style Battle Pass like you guys are doing, do you think that would have helped them?
I mean, I don't know what the Battle Pass is for Fortnite, but I'll assume it's the same thing.
I think that's the thing.
I'll assume it's the same thing as what we have.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe, but the thing is, there's still not enough tournaments. Like, it's only catering to the top players, right? It's a top player incentive. So you need all these teams to show up, and you need all these people to be trying to win. Roundnet's fun, and yeah, ideally it'd be nice to win, but the whole thing about Roundnet is not about winning. It's about going out there, having fun, meeting new people, getting active, being social and stuff.
I will say, like, money would be sweet, especially for, like, me as a top player, Emerson as a top player. Money would be sweet. When Midwest Roundnet was at its, like, peak, I would, like, be podiuming very consistently. I wasn't as good as I am now. But I remember getting first there and, like splitting $1,000 sometimes, or with, like, Reno or whoever I was playing with. I'd get, like, third, and, like, I would still be getting, like, a decent chunk of money. And it wasn't, like, some top players. It was just, like, a few of the best guys in the Midwest. And at the time, we were, like, one of the worst regions. And we just got a lot of people coming out. So, like, obviously our goal is to, like, grow the scene and get lower players out and to grow the local scene. But if it also benefits the top players to do this too. The more people we get playing, the more money is just going to go to the top players as well. So that shouldn't be the focus. That shouldn't be the goal. But if that's what you want, you got to also build the base, like
having people, the main incentive to have you get your value out should not be grind, get to the top, because eventually you're going to move up a division and then you're at the bottom, and you're going to be at the bottom. And why would you want to keep playing at the bottom and paying all this money? You have to cater to everyone, cater to the base. And then the more people you have, you can be the best in the world at a sport that no one cares about. Who cares? Yeah. Would you rather be like that and have nothing out of it, or be average at a sport that has all these people that are paying, and you're going to have way more sponsorship opportunities? Yeah. Like, think about pickleball, right? Like, you can go to pickleball, play a couple good tournaments, not even be great, and reach out to a company and they'll sponsor you. But you're probably ranked 20,000th in the world, and people are going to pay money for you to rep their gear. That's never going to happen in spike ball. I mean, it does, but at such a small level. But if you want to really grow the sport, you got to grow the bottom.
So what are you guys doing to get those lower players out, right? So, like, let's put it in perspective. Like, Zay with the Premier Tour Series, what are we doing for those advanced intermediate guys for MRS to make them pay? It's like, hey, come to our tournament, pay $35. You're not going to win anything, but you're going to have a fun time. Like, what are you guys doing to make that what's their incentive?
Zay is Premier, by the way. Just want to clarify that. But
no, I know that. I'm saying just with the Premier Tour Series, like how you said that. That's
so, like, again, like, our locals, that will be fun because we're going to be doing like a decent amount in each state, and that's more to focus on pulling in newer players. Point system wise too, I don't know how big of an incentive this will be for. Actually, it probably won't be, but I will say our locals points are a lot. Like, getting first at a local is like second or third at a sectional, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing, honestly, or the thing I'm most excited for, is these like community events, like Bang at the Beach. Just trying to get you don't have to have a partner. You pay to kind of just like go hang out, and you're gonna play this tournament. It's gonna be fun, but then the whole thing is like that vibe and that party afterwards, and you're gonna be like, I don't know. I just think people are gonna be like, holy shit, like, I get it. Like, this is so much more than just like playing a stupid little game. Like, this is where like the community meshes together, and like everyone's having fun, and we're all joking and just having a good time. So
yeah, I mean, ideally you want to grow that structure, right? So trying to copy how they do it over in Europe, right? So you got your local scene, you have your, let's say, Michigan, or your whatever state you're in, you're going to play in all the local tournaments because you're trying to, not travel too much. You're new to the sport. You're trying to play, get good competition, get local reps, and then eventually the top players will go. Okay, we'll travel across different states to go to the different sectionals. Well, then you have your top players like Tom who are going to travel to the USAR events, and they're going to travel farther to the bigger major events.
Yeah,
and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build that pyramid.
Right.
Play local, get better, and play cross state, get better, and then play cross nation, and then eventually, if you get to the top of your squad, then you can play international.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of us too, like a lot of the top players, we're gonna try and get our like squad around us to go to these events too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, really, that's it. That the community events and that. I mean, and the season pass, like, kind of making our like. I think the season pass really hits well for like our guys that are contender and want to get that premier, and for our guys that are premier and they know like they're gonna want to travel a lot. It's gonna make them like if they don't travel and they don't play events, then they're wasting their money. So it's gonna kind of like incentivize them to go travel a lot. And in that process, you want to save gas money. You're gonna make some new friends with some of these new players. It's gonna incentivize you to go to more of these events. And then when local players see when they come to an event and they see how big it is and like the energy of all these people coming out, I think it's just going to make them more likely to want to play their local scene and maybe cross that bridge where they're like, yeah, no, I'll go to this. Like, I'm from Michigan, but I'm going to go to this Ohio event, or I'll go to this Illinois one and see how cool it is. Or like, maybe I'll go to one of the big ones and like, see Ryan Marino play because, he plays at all my locals and he was super nice. So yeah. Wow. My boy hated on Marino.
So what?
I'll start with you.
What's up with this guy, huh? Guy like breaks his back or something and he can't play anymore? What's going on? So what is the divisions going to look like for MRS? How many divisions? What levels?
That's not Tom.
Okay.
But
okay. So
CBD?
No. Sectionals. We're planning on doing a. So we'll have like a premier division, and that we'll have the power pools and then normal pools. We'll have contender, and you're going to be able to get premier at the sectionals. If we have enough pools, we're gonna. You didn't know you could get a premier.
Someone didn't read the Instagram post. Come on, Josh.
Yeah. So our big events, which are the second weekend of every month, really want to stress that because that's a big deal. But yeah, you could get premier at them, and this also like qualifies you for pro status, all that. And then we will be trying to do women's event women's division if we get enough. We also have a season pass for women as well, and that will be cheaper. I think we're doing like $100. Really just try to get them to travel as well. So yeah, we'll have the women's division as well, and then we'll probably do like a lower division. And then when we get to our when we're taking a step down from sectionals, we'll go to our local events. I think we'll probably just do like what would you call it? Elite, and then like a lower division. Just like more of a beginner one, and then more for like your contender to premier guys and girls. And then the community events will depend on how the event is. I always bring up Bang at the Beach, but that one will probably be more of like just two divisions, like a good division and lower division. But I think we're also doing like Queen of the Realm, so that will be more of like a clinic, and then it's just like the women get to play. I think we're doing like a squads fun event too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really it for the divisions.
And what's the payout looking like? Because like you said, these guys want money. So
yeah.
What can some of these guys expect? And is it only going to be top division gets paid and other divisions get something? Nothing? What's the thought?
Yeah, top division gets paid. I think we're doing 40% of registration goes straight to to the payout, and that's what MRA did before. So again, for anyone trying to run tournaments, if you really want to build your local scene and pay top players, this is, in my opinion, the best way to do it for now, at least. So 40% of it will go to our payout. The other divisions will get like perks. I think we'll be like sponsoring with Nemesis, so we'll do like unique jerseys and just like merch too. We kind of just want to have like more casual stuff for people to wear. Yeah, I think that's it, really.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go, you show up, you play your division, you win. You'll hopefully go home with something.
Yeah, third place too. Like again, I think I don't want to like quote exactly because this was like years ago when Reno and I played together. I just remember playing in Columbus, and it was like a big like for a Midwest, right? So it wasn't like a Spike Ball Tour Series thing. It was just like we just ran a tournament. I think there was like 60 something teams, and Reno and I ended up getting third, and we split like $300 or almost $400, which isn't like crazy, but
still nice.
I mean, yeah, that's more than he made for winning the major in Utah.
Yeah,
it's like, bro,
That's crazy.
you know what I mean? And there's no like flat fee, you know, just like the more people that show up, then it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna get paid more because of it.
Definitely.
I like that. That's what we do for New Jersey Roundnet too. We do the 40%.
Yeah.
good number.
Yeah.
Good number.
Yeah, Ben runs it. He knows that
Good.
makes sense. So just gotta do shit that makes sense, really.
All right, Emerson, I got you, brother. Part 2.
Yep.
Second question for you. I have one for both of you guys, okay? So this isn't just for you. Are you familiar with the game Start One, Bench One, Cut One?
Wow. Yeah.
Are you familiar with that game?
Yeah, but I hate that game. But I'll
All
do
right,
it.
well, here we go. But after you gave me shit about the last question, you better answer this one. So here we go. Part 2. Blake Bozak, Vinny Mathieu, and Etienne Cote. Start one, bench one, and cut one.
Oh, okay.
Etienne starting. Etienne starting.
Okay, for me, it depends on who you're playing against.
Yeah.
And what the tournament is, what level you're at. Like, I need a team.
Okay, I'll give you the scenario. I'll give you a scenario
against...
so there's no he said, she said. I got it, Maddie, because I knew he was going to try and loophole me out of
No,
this.
this ain't no loophole. This is like...
No. So here we go. You're playing in the STS Championship 2024, and you're playing against Gabe Finocchi and Thomas Hamilton.
It's a wrap no matter what you pick. It's
Wow.
That's the question.
I need a... Okay, the question is, start one, bench one, and sit one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I gotta start ATN.
Any situation.
Wow. Okay. I'll go. Ooh. I'll bench Blake and I'll sit Vinny.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Actually, it's pretty cool.
But I think Blake has done the best against you guys, Tom and Gabe, and Vinny won the last tournament.
Yeah, Vinny's beat me once.
But I think Tom's record against Vinny is more than Tom's record against Blake.
No, I haven't lost to Blake.
Yeah, how many times you played him? Once. Yeah, so Blake's won against Tom. I think Vinny was like 1-8.
No, 2. Like I think he beat me and Dawson.
Okay. So yeah, that's my rationale.
Okay. So that's your rationale. So if you're starting Etienne,
yeah,
you're sitting Blake, you're benching Vinny.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom, part 2.
Wait. You said that backwards? I'm starting Etienne.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
You said it right.
I've had a couple too many fireballs. My bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all good. You're good. Okay, here we go. Part 2B for you, Tommy boy. You're at ASL.
Yes.
Damn. You're at ASL in Florida this year, and Etienne and Vinny walk up to the net, and you're standing there, and you have 3 partners with you. You got to start one, meaning one of them's going to walk out with you and face them. You have to bench one, meaning you have to say, hey, please go sit down. And you have to cut one and basically tell them, hey, go get me a drink. So here you go. I need you go Ryan Marino, Gabe Finocchi, and Emerson D.
I knew it, dude. This is so brutal. This is literally the 3 people I play this season.
This is a good question. This is a great question.
This is actually...
Okay, my guess is it going to be... it's going to be... You're going to pick Gabe and then Marino.
No. Right.
And then Emerson's the water boy.
No.
I'm the water boy.
No.
Actually, because I was water boy in the final of this year, that means I had a bad water boy job, which means he's gonna pick me not to be water boy. He'll pick me to be the bench guy.
Yeah, I would.
All right, let's hear the rationale. The floor is yours. What do you got?
With Ryan's condition right now, because when Ryan is like 100%, I do click with him a lot. I mean, we're just like very close as friends. I mean, I'm actually really close to Emerson too. But I have like the most experience with Ryan. So for him, it'd be start, or if his back and how he's doing right now, it would be cut. because like realistically throughout the day, Worlds and ASL, I mean, as good as he is, it's just tough for him right now, and there's definitely like a difference in his game, and he's a little rusty. So, right, I would like, yeah, it's kind of one or the other with Ryan, honestly. If it's just like a perfect world where he's like 100% Ryan, he's starting every time.
Mm-hmm.
But if right now he's still dealing with his back injuries, then I would, if I'm trying to win, I need to cut that.
Got him.
But nah, that's just true. You know, like it's tough for him right now. It's not his fault that shit happened. So,
and that's why he's picking me over over Gabe.
Yeah, no, I'd start. If I'm trying to win 100% of the time, I mean, is that matchup specifically actually is a little tougher because I do think Emerson's one of the best players in the world, but I think Gabe is either one or two, depending on how I'm feeling.
After me?
Okay.
Depending on if Marino's healthy or not, right?
You've thought about it, so you're just going to answer after me. I'm going to be starting.
I'm cutting Reno right now because of his back. I will start Gabe, and then Emerson's coming in after that.
I'll take the pity second.
Especially playing against like Vinny and or wait, no, actually, fuck, that would make me want to start you more playing against Vinny because Vinny kind of rocked Gabe, but then we still just messed him up after. It's tough. That's a brutal question. That's a good question.
That's a
honestly.
good question. See,
I'll still go with that for now because
that's question of the day.
Gabe, even if he's getting rocked, I know he will adapt, and I know he will, come with the vengeance every time. So, especially if I'm like there helping him, I could just do my thing, and then he's just like a rock,
And you said Gabe is 1 or 2, right? And that was depending on if Ryan's back is healthy or not, right?
No, I was joking. I said how I'm feeling.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Okay. I thought
and
misunderstanding.
Do you think, Tom? Do you think, because there's a discussion? Maddie and I are doing end of year 2024 awards. We're a little bit late, but 2025 season hasn't really started just yet, so it kind of feels like, let's just squeeze it in. Do you think there's an argument to be made that you had a better season last year on paper than Gabe did?
I think I did, straight up, right?
Straight up, right?
I'd say straight up.
Okay, hold on. I have a question for you. Why would you think that
go.
Gabe had a better season than Tom?
I guess just because they both won, and I think Gabe's better overall. I guess I got a little bit like of that sort of juice in me. You don't, bro? You don't? You think Tom's better, top to bottom?
No. I this is my problem with the game right now. Honestly, I think Gabe is like a more like fundamentally solid player than me. I think I have moments outside of serving that I like can shine a little bit more. Like if you get like a really bad touch, I'm more likely to get like a layout set and bring it back. But I think overall, like Gabe's a little bit better than me at hitting. I think defensive wise, he's better. I think he's a better serve receiver. I just think the game is. I don't like the game right now, and I think it relies on serving too much. And I think that because I could kind of just randomly kind of
get busy with that.
Yeah. I think that it just rewards me for one thing.
Fair.
That's not an athletic thing. It's just reps, honestly. So.
That's what I like about like you, bro, and especially like what you're doing with your tour series and how you're pushing the game forward and how it means so much to you because you're somebody who under the current rule set benefits greatly. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see you sort of be like, listen, this is all well and good, but we have to make some changes here for the overall health of our game.
Yeah.
So I give you kudos there.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, it'd be bad game design. And I wouldn't be real with myself if I was like, yeah, no, this game's perfectly fine. I love watching it. It's like, no, I kind of hate when people just like something because they're good at it and they're going to just turn a blind eye to like the facts of something, right? Like, we've seen the game, we've seen the percentages, we know what's up. Like, wake up.
You guys are both students of the game and you've watched a lot of like high level play over the years. Can you think of a series in the past 1 or 2 seasons that you've seen either on YouTube live or have watched back where you go, this was a series that stuck out to me that I loved, or I've watched once, twice, that like this one really hit me?
I think there's only one right answer.
By the way, I haven't like, I wouldn't say I watched it back a lot, but honestly, like most of Assistive Touch, what they did, and people always are like Assistive Touch versus Kyle Ackerman and Ryan Gross, Swervy.
Swervy.
That was a sick game,
That
right?
was a semifinal, though, right?
Yeah, so it was semifinal.
Yeah, that was
That whole series.
Yeah.
even the finals too. The finals
But-
was crazy.
Dude, what pisses me off so much about people? They're like, "Oh, the game could look like that. The game should be like that." It's like, bro, I'm sorry. You put them in the current game. Both those teams get washed. Both of them, like all those players are getting washed with that current.
We're getting cooked
every time, dude. I could play with like well, I can't play the Rock. That's like I could play the Rock, but
a Rock.
It's horrible.
Like,
that's horrible.
You can play with Matt. That's okay.
that's a little. That's a little. No.
I think Matt beat Rogue. I think that's what I heard recently.
I was talking about my little brother, Matt Spo. 100%. I would put so much money that you and I would beat that.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd hope so.
I would too.
Oh yeah, I would. The only thing I'd question is if like the pressure's on. I haven't seen you play with like a bunch of people around like that, but I do 100% think we could smoke them. I think it'd go 2 games, easy money.
Yeah,
that's funny. I think I agree with you though. I think that's the most entertaining series to watch. But you also got to think about it too, because that is a very defensive heavy 4 that you put on that net. Right. And that's why we were seeing all those crazy rallies, crazy touches, right? None of them really did some crazy serves. And if one of them got an ace, everybody erupted because it's like, holy crap, one of them aced.
Right. Well,
it was more so shock factor versus
maybe a little Clark
skill factor. Yeah.
I think the big thing too that like people don't always think about though, it's like, yes, they're all good defensive players, but like when you look at like the current skill of like the best level players and stuff, like if they were hitting like Gabe, that wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, it just wouldn't have happened. Yeah, there's really not much else to say, honestly. Like, yes, they're great defenders, but they're also, especially at that time, we're not the greatest hitters. And, like, that's where the biggest shift we're seeing right now. Like, people are starting to get much better at hitting. And then when they do get a bad set, they're just going to bomb it.
Right.
Yeah, you got to take something away. You either got to take away the ability to hit as hard and as far as you can, or you have to take away the ability to hit like angles. So
true.
And no more cop outs.
No more cop outs. All right, Tom. Question number 2 for you specifically. Ready?
All right.
In a best of 7 series with a big ball and a 10-meter boundary, who wins in the series? Bozak and your buddy and your boy to your left, Emerson Dean, against Vinny and Etienne.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wait, how? What's 10 meters? Americanize it from?
You gotta say it in feet.
30 feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
It's not the math's not right, by the way.
The math's not math.
No.
Close enough.
It's around 30. Okay.
It's like 3.3, I think.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Dude, ATN's so good. I think ATN's like one of the best players in the world right now. Yeah.
I'm gonna bias Tom right now, but I'm gonna say 8-10 and Vinny.
Really? That's fair.
You're gonna say what? 4 games to 2?
Whoa. We'll go 4-3 just to keep it close.
I will go 4-3. I don't know. I don't know Blake's game well enough.
I'd say 4-2 if I'm being honest, though. I'd say 4-2.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll go.
I mean, Tom, what do you think? You with that 4-3?
Dude, I'm thinking mainly about you versus ATN, so I'm like, Greg with the big ball, like how much more does that change?
Yeah. You know what? I changed my mind. 4-3.
I'll go.
There we go.
I'll go 4-3 Emerson and Blake right now. Almost all my testing has been with Emerson. So
with Emerson,
even with the big ball, he's still a great server. Even better, defensively, and his hitting is smart. So I'm curious to see how these other players do with the boundary and big ball. Though I think obviously some will be more effective than others, but I think guys like him and ATN will be even better, which
will flourish. Yeah. And you'll see when we do our end of the year rankings and into our 2025 preview. But Emerson, I think that you are going to be a top 6 or 7 player in the game this year with the rule changes and stuff. So I'm really high on you, bro. So I need you to lock it
That's
in.
Too high. That's too high. I do better as a dog. I'm a better dog. Get me in the double digits, please.
You want to be lower?
Yeah.
I can't lie to you, though. I don't like lying to you because it doesn't feel right.
Okay.
I'll
But
put
Matt,
you at 25.
If anything to you, Matt Spo doesn't even have you in the top 20. So
I'll put you at 25. Don't worry.
No,
Bro,
but
he's
see,
like top
I'm,
15
I'll
right
be
now.
I'll be the best 25 player ever. I'll be the worst six
Never.
And that's what we love to see. We love a good underdog story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. All right, guys. So what I do want to talk about this before we head off too. Pro League.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Pro League coming up from personal standpoint?
Mhm.
You like it? You hate it?
All right, that's all you, Tom.
That's all you, buddy.
Uh,
You want to start it or no?
you go. You go.
I think again, similar to like with the Premier Spike series, like Pac and Christian. I think like I know they want to do something and they want to do something big, and it's cool, and I respect that. But I'm going to be brutally honest. It's the same thing with like for Alex and Caleb. I like them a lot. Like they're very passionate about it and everything. But for me, and there's a lack of understanding for me for sure, but there's just some issues I have. Like there's not much correlation alongside USAR. I think the squads format is amazing, but like squads could kind of, it's a format. It's not like it has to be ASL, right? So for me, I'm like, well, why aren't we integrating this more with USAR? Because now you're asking me to run and play this entire season, right? And then this ends, I play the championship, and then right afterwards, I'm going to play a pro league or the pro league, right? And to my understanding, it's like what, $30 every match day, and like
I mean, they said it's around somewhere between $19 and $45 per person per match day, which you have to pay for 3 or 4 match days. So it could be up to $200 to play 4 days, which isn't the worst, but
you're playing less games like in the tournament still.
Yeah,
right?
like,
and then how are they paying for the field?
I mean, nothing's been publicized about where's that money going, who's paying for the fields. They were on your podcast and you guys asked about who's paying for the fields. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but what was their answer to you when they asked who's paying for the fields?
They said that they would. I'm pretty sure what they said. Josh, you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they said that they would help cover, but you can't expect like turf stadiums, right? They're going to talk with the local parks and rec, and they will help out and do whatever they have to do to make sure that we get a field with like the local organization.
Yeah.
So it might be working with, so it might be both local organization, like the host, because the host is also expecting to get some money out of hosting an event.
Right. Yeah. But from the fans though, and I mean, if that's your only way of income and not through the $45 per player, I mean, what's stopping you from just going, hey, Livonia, they got a team? Okay, Windsor, we got a team. Columbus, we got Lansing, like Michigan State, Michigan University, Grand Rapids, wherever. We'll just have our own squad day. Like, for example, Windsor, we have a squad of 7 or 10 or whatever, and we're going to play against a team an hour away or 2 hours away in Canada, and we're going to meet up in April and have a squad day. It's all free. We're going to just play at the park. We're going to have 3, 4, 5 nets going on, playing, okay, every round, we got 4 or 5 games going on. Okay, after the 5 rounds are over of each 5, then we have a winner. And, like, we can just do that. We don't need to, I don't know.
Like, my other issue, too, is, like, we're putting, like, these, like, weird artificial boundaries, right? Like they're giving us these like what is it, like I forgot, they have like the exact conferences, but then also they're like 15 miles from this area, and it's like I just don't think we're big enough to really be there yet. If I'm being like brutally honest, I don't think we're big enough for that, and that's why like what I was saying with the Midwest Elite, like you guys could, if you guys show up to enough tournaments or do well enough, you would make Midwest Elite, and like if we did the squads thing, you would get an invitation first to play on it. So, like, for me, it's a little, like, frustrating because I'm like, why wouldn't they just, or why can't they work alongside USAR and then, like, dream scenario, instead of, like, 2 different leagues, like, moving towards, like, the end goal of growing the sport? Why aren't they working together, Like, I think we're going to see, like, an oversaturation of it because we're going to play this whole USAR series and like Midwest series and whatever. Like you guys have the East series. We're gonna be playing all this, and then we're gonna be tired out as like, especially as us as top players. We're not gonna want to like grow our local guys as much because we've been focusing on doing that and going to our local events and everything. And then,
okay, so here's what I just thought of. Like, just picture a world where you got MRS, you got, the ERS, the East Coast League, you got the West Coast League, the South, the Texas, like whatever. And imagine you have the top 7 players in points in your region. They make the Midwest squad. And now at the end of the year, you have a Midwest team, you have a East team, you have a South team, a West team. And then they all play in a squad format at the end of the year. Or, okay, the top 7 players that are in Michigan, they're on the team. Why does it have to be ASL? I mean, ASL's, the format's amazing, but imagine if you just incorporate it with USAR, and you go, okay, now you have your perfect structure. You're perfect, okay, play the locals, play the sectionals.
Get your guys grinding in it too.
If you make top 7, now you're playing on the top team for Michigan. Now we're playing on the top team for Ohio. That's your team. That's how you make the team.
Right.
That'd be like, imagine having the USAR squad championship end of the year, and it's the top people that competed in their local region, their sectionals, their USAR events, and that's the squad. You can't have people that just show up and play the one tournament. Like, how crazy would that be? Now you're incentivized to play the locals. Now you're incentivized to play the sectionals. Right. Now if you travel to US, like wherever, you're going to be rewarded for it.
And there's no like weird boundary thing where you're like, oh, because I live here, it's weird. Like Emerson's case, he lives right here, or well, I'm here in his life, but he lives right next to Michigan. Like he's gonna come to all of our tournaments. Like if we did it by state, we were talking regions, but like one day if we were able to go as far as like doing it by states, there would be no reason for him to not be a part of the squad because he would come through, he'd play, and he's paying to be in our tournaments. He's playing in our tournaments. So he's supporting our community, like there's no reason he wouldn't be able to be on the squad. Like it's a little bit like frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like to
so right now, like ASL, they're trying to be separate. They're trying to work with the USAR, but I don't know how well it's going to go out. But I mean, I think it would just be amazing if we could just do squad format for USAR for Canada. And then we have a tournament where it's based on how well you've done and the points you've earned throughout that year. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And ASL can be totally part of that if they're incorporated with the USAR and Canada.
They
but
need
right now
match.
they're not.
Yes.
Right now it's based on arbitrary regions, which, is a totally different topic.
Also, low key to like why we want to do top 8 men and top 4 women if we were going to do squads. I just think it's neat to have women on the squad, so then you have like a mixed squad and a women's squad, and then like you're not just incentivized to grow like the boys, but you're gonna have to have the girls grind too. There's just so much potential, and I feel like the ASL championship is like it's almost like it's the Super Bowl, but they're not the NFL. Like USAR has to be the NFL. Does that make sense?
Why? Why do they have to be?
Because they are, well, first of all, they're a national governing body, and like you need that to even get into the Olympics, and that they have the spread over everything. And I mean, like their intention is obvious to grow the sport. They are a nonprofit. Everyone in there working is doing it like completely free and on their own time, or maybe there's like a little bit of payment here and there for something, but like for the most part, I mean, it's literally a nonprofit. So like their whole goal is just to grow the sport. And I feel like I love ASL, dude. The ASL tournaments are amazing. Talking to Alex and Caleb, they are so passionate about all this, but I feel like we're in the spot where we kind of got put into, they didn't say a whole lot, and it was hard to critique, and they already had these ideas, and then Spikeball steps down from running tournaments, which is awesome, but then it's almost like
everyone's trying to fill that void.
Yeah, it's almost like the Wolves are coming in, man, and it's like we need to focus on the like local scenes and grow and coming together as one. We don't need these like USAR and ASL competing for something, So
I have a question. I have a question for you, and it's just been a common thing that I've been hearing a little bit as you hear, like we post a podcast, right, and then people give us feedback, whether it's with the Premier Tour, whether it be with you guys, whether it's with ASL, we get feedback from, they just start coming out of the woodwork with stuff, right? So then one theory came out that basically the ASL format and everything they were pushing this year sort of felt like just a way for them to broker and highlight people to come to their tournaments. You get what I'm saying? So it's sort of like they created this thing, this sexy thing that you can come and attain, this high status, your team, you compete, it's a pro league. But realistically, it just felt like something where they were trying to paint you this picture so that you attend their tournaments as like a tournament incentivizing thing. What do you think about like a critique like that, or somebody saying that?
I mean, I'll say I disagree with that just because I think, their vision and goal has always been, okay, start local, and then we'll have this ASL tournament, playoff event, and then they'll turn to the Pro League. Like, they've said that's what their goal and mission was the whole time. I fully believe that. I think the timing's great, and they're trying to pounce on it, and that's amazing. But I just think it doesn't align with the USAR goals and visions and what could be so much more beneficial for everyone playing. However, the part that I disagree with is, when they're saying that people that are going to play and they're not going to want to go to a spike ball or a USAR tournament to watch pro level players, but then they're all going to be super into playing on a squad team. Like, if you can be a part of a team that, you can be on Livonia team, and you can be on Livonia minor, or like the farm team, Tom's on the top team. But if you want to watch a pro level game, you're not going to watch a squad format where you have people that are the 7 team or the 7 seed on their team playing, and like they barely know how to play because they are on the team because they're the 7 because they need someone. Like we don't, like, who's going to want to watch that, especially at the finals at ASL were amazing. The 7s were amazing. That's the best of the best at the playoff. Imagine the local league, the local tournaments, and the 7s playing in the final there. It's going to be nowhere near how it was at ASL. And then you take people that aren't in the final. Like, it's so, like, blown out of proportion because of how good the final was at ASL. But the average 7 seed on an average team, who's going to want to watch that? If people want to watch top level competition, go to your local USAR event, go to your local sectional, local league, watch the final there. You're going to see people like Thomas and Marino and Cliff, and not just for Michigan. And you're going to see way better competition than a squad format, even in the final, because you have people that are just so spread out.
Who would have thought a guy in a looking this snazzy would get this fired up over Roundnet, huh?
Hey, that's the fireball.
Gotcha.
I mean, dude, like, in our dream world scenario where we're talking about, like, either it being based on regions as your squad or, like, by your state, like, I just think that would be so sick, is, like, if that's how it was, and maybe we have, like, these majors, right, where majors now maybe aren't singles tournaments. That's, like, where you go and you play at squads, and then you have your championship. And if we did it either by state or by region, right, but, like, the winner of the championship doesn't just get, like, a prize in money, but, like, they take the championship to their region or to their state the next year. Like, I think there'd be so much pride in, like, building up your squad and building up, like, not your guys and girls. Like, there's so much potential for it. And again, like, Alex and Caleb, I think they're so passionate about it, and, like, I like them as people a lot. But, like, I've recently had a lot of time to, like, think about it some more, and especially with forming the MRS. And I'm like, oh, I understand the potential of what the game could be now, especially with Spike Ball leaving. Because it's like, as a community, we have to accept that we have to take a couple steps back to move forward, just because, like, and this isn't, I'm not saying Spike Ball is, like, villains for this, but, like, they kind of put us in a spot where, like, a lot of us believe we're bigger than we are, right? Like, I've been able to play, I've had the privilege to play on ESPN a few times and, like, play in some cool big ass stadiums, but, like, I didn't get paid shit for it, and, like, neither does anyone else. And it's like, why are we paying for these huge, crazy like stadiums, events, and moments when
we're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, just because we're playing in a division that's called pro doesn't mean we're actually pro players. I mean, what's stopping you from playing pickleball in a local tournament and naming the top division pro? You should think you should be paid thousands? No. That's the same with spikeball. That's where we're at right now. Like, I mean, it'd be unreal to be paid and win a tournament and get, have your whole expenses covered for.
Yeah.
But just because the division's called pro, does that mean that's how it should be? I don't think so. It'd be nice. Definitely would be great, but I'd have to disagree on that.
Totally fair. Totally fair. I love those takes, by the way. I was very interested in a lot of it. It's every single one of those comments were so true. And I don't know, I never thought about it. I never thought about it.
Hey, we're only speaking the truth. Yeah.
I was with it every single one of them. I don't know if it's just because it's 11 o'clock right now, and I'm just.
You're funny.
But I loved it. I loved it.
You thought everything they said was true? You aligned with all their thought process, bro?
I think I like the sound of a lot of it. I've said for a while. I think a state v state squad tournament would be unreal. If we do like a region squad tournament as like the thing, that'd be awesome. Cool. Yeah, I mean, wow.
I mean, people have been wanting. Americans have been wanting region squad or like region versus region for years now. They've been wanting it for years. Like, what's stopping us from doing it? Like, nothing. We can just do it. We don't need ASL to have a region tournament. We can just do one. We can just take 4 regions, East, Midwest, West, and South, and just have a tournament. And, take your top 10, top 5 teams, top 7 players, do a squad format, do a normal tournament, like, whatever you want. We can just do it. We don't need ASL. We can do it under USAR. We don't even have to do it under USAR at all. We can just do it.
I want it to work with ASL, though. I think that they have a cool thing going. They've obviously shown that they can put on amazing events, and they have technology in the way to do it. And I like both those people. So I want it to work.
They do a good job of getting people together. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, those tournaments are fucking electric. Those are my favorite tournaments. But again,
yeah, they're awesome.
It's awesome, but I just feel like what they're aiming for, they're going for something good, but then you have USAR going for something good, and why would we have these two going parallel, like just right next to each other, when we could have them working together and growing the sport? And again, with spike ball.
Okay, I have something for both you guys. It's a question, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say there was somebody who just found out about the game within the last 6 months and was like, "Oh, this is actually awesome. I have a little bit of a local community where I go to pickups and I meet some people, and this is fun, and I'm interested in this." What would your pitch to them be in 2025 for them to reach a level where they get to meet these new people and explore the new friendships and stuff and travel a bit, but also grow their game and stuff? If you know what I mean, give me like the pitch you'd give to a new player in our current level.
Well,
I am buzzing real quick.
No, don't Rigo. Don't Rigo. Tom's about 2 fireballs. So he didn't hear that, but I did. I'm a veteran.
Real quick, I'm not gonna lie.
So his question was pretty much, what would your pitch be to a new player who's new to the scene? Okay, and here's my pitch. Okay,
yep.
I'm saying, hey, let me call up Tom real quick. The player that won the USA championship and a world champion, 2-time champion, he's going to pick up the phone right now, and he's going to be here within a week to play pickup with you. And, hey, it's going to be a good time, and we'll go from there. That's my 10-second pitch. If it wanted to be longer, I would definitely change it and make it a little bit better. But if I had 10 seconds, that's what I'm saying.
My pitch would be, hey, come play your local scene, meet people, have fun, experience the game, and go to something big. And like, I promise you, you stay around, you watch, you see all these people coming from out of state. You're not just going to see like a cool game, but you're going to see a cool community.
Spo, what about you, bro? What would your pitch be to a new player? We haven't really talked about this. I'd be curious.
I'm a second Thomas there. I think the biggest thing is, just go to your local tournaments because we all start there. My first tournament was within a hour and a half drive of me, right? And that was my first couple tournaments were just the close ones, super small, playing in the winter when it was snowing, but that's just what it was, right? So starting small and then meeting these people, and then that'll eventually get you to the next spot. I feel like since I started, it's definitely kind of gone down a little bit because of these big tour series. But with these big tour series stepping back, I can see this is going to be huge for the local scenes coming up. So I'm excited for 2025. It's going to be a weird year, but it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, that little step back.
If you guys, go ahead. If you guys could make a prediction, what do you think would be in 2025? What do you think is the highest attendance per player that you'd have at one of your events?
Highest attendance per player?
I
One.
Yeah, I don't know. Reword that.
I'm sorry. What's the most amount of people you'll have at a single tournament?
I knew I'm not a dick. I understood. All right.
Thank you, bro.
I'll say one big thing we're planning. So again, I said like the second weekend of every month is our sectional, and then our final one in September will be our championship. I'm hoping.
Where's the championship?
It's to be determined.
Okay.
Our plan is that will be one where you it'll technically also be like a community event where you pay. And we want to get like a place where like the property has like a house on site where like you'd be able to stay there and stay the night. I think that one could potentially be our biggest event, and I could see because I think if we do something unique with points too, where like people could come out of state and potentially have a shot at making this really, or we might even just do a whole other division for it. I was thinking,
top 4 teams out of state qualify.
Yeah, well, like that, or we might do. Now that USAR has their like bronze, silver, gold ranking, we might do like, hey, this is silver and up division now, and so like I think we're gonna try and put a unique spin on it to get the most high level players out, and then obviously I think we'll attract our local people as well and try to get them. So we'll try to make it more of a fun event as well. I mean, if everything goes smoothly throughout the year, I could see that one, or maybe like Columbus or Bang, or yeah, I could see one of those three being like.
My guess is it'll be Columbus will be
200.
Yeah, 150 plus.
Teams?
Yeah.
That would be fucking hype.
150 teams, 300 people.
Yeah,
I can see it. I mean, hey, who knows?
We're crossing our fingers.
I'm just a guy under the influence of Fireball, but I can see Columbus being a big one, being close to pretty much every Midwest state, besides like Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah,
and then also closer to teams outside of the Midwest, coming from the South and the East. It'd be more appealing. So I can see 150, especially if that is the championship location.
Yeah,
and as a sectional.
I also think low key some of our like fun events. I think Bang at the Beach is gonna pop off. Dude. I have a feeling so many people are gonna come to that. That one's gonna be so sick.
We'll be banging at Bang. Don't worry.
Pause.
No pause.
Resume.
Okay.
Let's hope so. That'd be sick. That'd be sick.
Emerson, what were you telling me, bro, about the value pack? Remember you were telling me about $60 gets you like a bag of chips, a tournament registration, like a BFF, and a couple Facebook friends. What is that?
What? I mean, hey, that's a great pitch. You know what? I think I might start using that. Find out, become a Facebook friend, a couple bag of chips, Fireball.
You get a goodie bag.
A goodie bag, place to stay, after party, game of.
That was it. Remember, you got food too. Didn't you get food too? You got like a food voucher.
Wait, are we? Wait,
this is for something you planned, probably for your tournament. Yeah.
Wait, what?
You're buzzing, bro.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the Windsor?
Matt.
Yeah, it's got to be the Windsor tournament.
Matt, I want you to keep going. I'm going to go through the receipts. I'm going to pull up exactly what he said. You go to the next segment.
Yeah, there's no way I said the word goodie bag.
I believe Josh.
No, I made up goodie bag.
Okay, you're throwing me off with the word goodie bag here.
I don't know what in Canada you call them goodie bags. What do you call them?
Yeah, we call them goodie bags. I never said goodie bag.
What's a goodie bag in Canada?
A goodie bag. A goodie bag.
Next question, bro. This guy.
Next question.
All right, so I want to talk about this a little bit. This happened in the Discord a little bit ago, and I just thought it was really funny. I just want to talk about it, get Thomas's opinion on it. So we got a message from Daniel Huang's a couple weeks ago about Gator Roundnet doing some testing for the 25-foot boundary and saying how they just didn't like it. They didn't vibe with it. Not a ton of fun. They hated it, right? Thomas comes out swinging, says, I think it's important that a lot of changes need to be tried out by high premier pro players.
I hold back on the Discord a lot. I'm going to be honest. Like,
yeah, this was seeing this come from you. I was very surprised because I saw Daniel type that, and I've gotten the pleasure of actually housing Daniel for one of the New Jersey tournaments.
Yeah.
So I know Daniel a little bit closer than some other guys. So I was thinking about typing back and saying, like, I wonder what it looks like from a premier standpoint.
This is one thing. So I'm also, I think 25 feet is probably too small. I have tried it before with a big ball, and I still thought it was a little too small. And I hate the pro ball. But dude, it wasn't him specifically. I think it's just like from seeing stuff typed from like a bunch of players from all over the world, and it's like, I'm not trying to dog on people, but it's like, dude, there's a point where it's like, I'm sorry, I know that you tried something like once or twice with your buddies, and I've seen someone had given me an opinion once. They sent film, and they were playing with like their wife and a few other people, and they're like, yeah, it wasn't really working, and I was like, and they're like, it just looked bad, and I'm like, well, you guys playing the normal game doesn't really look good either. Like, that's just like, what else am I supposed to say? For real though, you can't.
I love that,
bro. You can't get like. It doesn't matter. Like, if I get advanced players playing the game with a boundary, if I get them playing with a balloon, if I get them playing with a rock, if I get them playing the normal game, it's not going to look the same at the top level. And the big thing is, when you get people playing at the top level, I think that's when we'll get more of a pure version of the game. That's not to say it's all about the top level though. If there's a change, like, let's say we made the no-hit zone like 5 feet or 4 feet, right? We would get hella rallies. The game would look cool because it'd just be like booming it and we'd just run it back, right? And then dinking or booming it. So at the top level, we could see some cool stuff. But at the lower level, we're just going to see errors over and over again. That's where, like, I think it's important to note that level of it. But I still think it's still going to be mainly, like, you need perspective of both. But like the top level, if you're going to be like, yeah, we want the game to look good, like, you're going to have to watch top players play it, and you're going to have to let them try it. And I'm sorry, like, it's still valid testing. Everyone should test stuff, but like, give it more than a day of trying stuff and like really give it your all, and don't, be biased because, you can't bomb it anymore and that was your best shot. So, yeah.
No, I agree. And even if you do hate it, because like we've been playing this rule set A, and it's not fun to play. It's not fun to watch, but we're still playing it. We're still grinding it because that's just what it is, right?
Right.
And trying to make it as good as possible.
Right. I feel bad.
All right, hold on. I got to defend myself here after, Emerson made me look like a fool.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So this is a direct quote. So we'll throw the receipts up on the screen if we have to.
Yeah, screenshot it, please.
But it says here that the Windsor tourney includes, and I quote, $63 a team, USD, a lunch, pre-party, after party, and a barbecue.
Yeah, no goodie bag. No goodie bag.
You got you on the technicality.
Yeah. Hey, I said there's no goodie bag.
Okay.
No.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so.
So tell me about
goodie bag. No, for sure though. Lunch included, after party included, dinner at the after party. We're gonna have a barbecue, pool party. It's gonna be unreal. We've had it last year, the last 2 years actually, and then a pre-party. We had it the previous year as well. We had pizza, and then we had like 15 people at the one house, and then another 20 people at another house. But like, we didn't really make it public or anything. So we're hoping this year we're gonna have it all at one location. Everyone's gonna be buzzing Friday night before the tournament, and then combo that with everyone staying and the late tournament start at 11:30 a.m. That way everyone can get there late on the Friday. Everyone can buzz and party Friday night, sleep in, get breakfast together, or just sleep in until 11, whatever you want, and then start at 11:30. Lunch comes at, I think, around 1 p.m., 1 $1.45, somewhere in that range, somewhere in the one range. Lunch will be provided. Tournament goes to about 5 or 6 because we're going to have a very strict policy about between games, between matches. There's no messing around here. We're going to follow strict USAR North America standards, 3 minutes between games, 5 between matches. And then, right after the tournament, we all go to the pool party, barbecue, food, partied up, mini stick tournament, if time provides, and people are down to mini stick it up. Otherwise, we'll be playing games, pool, darts, whatever. It'll be awesome. Very community focused. There's no prize money because every dollar that comes to the tournament goes towards the party on the Friday, the lunch on the Saturday, the dinner on the Saturday, and if there's any leftover money, it'll be put towards bigger balls, spray paint, stuff like that. So no prize money. This is solely for the community, everyone to have a great time, from top players,
pretty cool, man,
to rec players, to first timers. It's going to be the best tournament experience ever. I mean, you're going to travel. People travel, all over the states and Canada with the expectation of money, but it never happens, right? Only the top 3 teams get it. Here, you're expected to get nothing, but besides a good time, you can have the best time ever. So that's what we're all about here in Windsor, at least.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. All right. I think that we've about covered everything. Josh, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree. Do you guys have anything for us? We like to always open up the floor to you guys because we kind of hammer you for about an hour 15, and then, you know what I mean? Got to give you the floor, too.
Follow Midwest Roundnet on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Follow Emerson Dean Roundnet on Instagram.
That's all we got. But I got a question for you guys. All right. So who do you think is the better podcaster? We'll go with Matt first. As in between the two of you, not us. We don't care about us.
Oh man, it's tough. I feel like, all right, here's my answer. We have our roles, right?
Okay.
He's the entertainer, right? He's the guy you see on the Spikeball streams who's doing the announcing, right? Yeah. He brings out the silly questions, but also the good questions, as we've seen both in this podcast alone, right? And then I'm kind of the tech guy. I just make sure everything runs smoothly, it gets recorded, and it gets on.
Yeah.
And I go with the flow. I react. I'm a very reactive guy, where he's kind of proactive.
So you're kind of the guy that would be responsible for Josh not being able to talk for the first couple bit.
I give Josh the platform to talk. Yes. Okay. No, I don't know. I think Josh is a better speaker than I am. My voice still cracks, and I'm 23 years old, so I think I got to work on that first, and then I might be able to read.
I like that question because nobody's asked us that yet. I'll be honest. When we have guests on where it's more like structured and we're asking like high level questions about, I mean, like our last couple guests, really, Maddie like carries the torch when we're talking like the ASL guys, and we're gonna have Chris Reuter on, I think, in a couple weeks, and like guaranteed Maddie's gonna dominate that podcast because he's more about the X's and O's. I'm more about trying to figure out like who you guys are as people, and then kind of ride in that.
You're more about the juice.
Realistically, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So, but I appreciate the question, bro. Thank you.
Bro. That's all I got.
All right. Like they said, go follow Midwest Roundnet. Go follow each of their Instagrams, Thomas Hamilton Roundnet and Emerson Roundnet.
Wow.
Don't forget, the Fwango is live. I'm looking at the page right now. Midwest Roundnet has 3 tournaments up on Fwango. Check those out. Get signed up. Go get you some Midwest Roundnet points. Get you Midwest Elite. That'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. And don't forget to follow Spike Lemonade Pod, Instagram, Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. We're like literally a couple of subscribers away from our first little goal of 200 subscribers.
Yep, that's our first mini goal.
Let's hope. Get us there. Help us out. And
get to Windsor this year. It'll be the best tournament of your life, and you will get a goodie bag.
Hey, and go to Bang and Bang at the beach.
Yeah. No goodie bag at Bang at the beach, though. Let me tell you that. No goodie bag.
No goodie bag. Just banging. A lot of banging. Whoa.
A lot of bangers.
Whoa.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Woo!
Bang.
I'll be honest. He's talking USAR. I didn't hear.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't hear
he's
Canada
Team
Roundnet
USAR,
laughing once.
He's riding
throughout the
Tommy
whole-
Hamilton this whole episode. What's the answer? Give the people what they want to hear. Who are you rooting for?
Bro, that's worse than the Vinny question. Vinny.
Oh, of course. It just depends on who's winning.
What? No.
Come on.
No, that's by far the worst question of the night. If it's hockey, I'm taking Canada no matter what. I don't care how close I'm still in Canada. I'm more in. Okay, here's the thing that people.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Roundnet, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking international competition, right?
Mhm.
I'm Canadian. I'm not American, so I'm on Team Canada. I'm gonna root for Canada. I'm not American. I'm not gonna root for America. For squads, people love to go Canada versus US, right?
You didn't think it was?
No, it's Montreal versus Livonia. And Livonia, here's the fun fact for you guys. In the final, there were 8 Canadians and 6 Americans. It's not Canada-US. It's...
Okay, so it wasn't a Canadian dub.
Well, no, it was, because all 7 were Canadian.
Unfortunately. Pissed about it.
Unfortunately, there were more Canadians in the final than Americans. And, I'm in that final. It is Montreal against Livonia, and I'm on Livonia. If there's any team I want to have finish second, it would be Montreal for sure.
Okay,
but they're the only premier team in Canada that played that weekend, and
right.
But
all right, Em.
I'm in Livonia, so I'm a part of the squad. ASL is a region format. It's nothing to do with provinces or nations. It's not. It's
I agree.
It's who's closest to who. Boom, boom, boom. They're here in Canada. I'm in Canada, but I'm on Livonia. Matt.
Yeah. So let's say we have a tournament where we have a South squad and a North squad of Tom and the Livonia guys, or maybe Tom and some US guys, or some Quebec guys, right? It's not Canada, it's not US. It's just strictly South versus North. And they're both fighting for you. You qualify for both, right? You can play with the Quebec guys up north, or you can play with the Livonia US guys down south. Which team are you picking?
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt.
Hey, you know what? Thank you for a really good question.
Is that the top question? Did I just take the top question of the night?
No. The other question was top question of the night, but only because you're allowing me to pick the boundary. So I would take the Canadian side, not because I think they're better, because I don't know who's better. I haven't.
Because you don't like Tom.
Maybe, but Tom is more.
About Tom, dude. There's just something
about him.
Here's a fun fact for you guys.
Different.
Here's a fun fact. Tom.
His hair is different.
Go ahead, I gotta hear it.
Tom
loud.
is more north than me. So if I'm joining the north, then so is fucking Tom.
They did try to recruit me, dude. Team Canada, they did.
They tried.
Wait a minute. What?
Tom?
They did?
Because Michigan goes up and Canada's kind of like here.
It was Are you being serious?
With the Canadians, technically I am.
Hold on. Here's a fun fact for you. Okay? In our Livonia squad, if you go based off of who's the most north, or let's go most south, okay? J-Bar, most south, then me.
That's wild.
And then
Henry is in isn't Henry in Pennsylvania?
Well, if you go back,
it's in Pennsylvania.
and is it